long-awaited ANC Women's League National Elective Conference is set to get underway on Friday. The conference has been postponed 4 times already since 2020, all due to disputes and registration problems. Frontrunners for the presidency include Thembeka Mchunu and Sisisi Tolashe, but also embattled ANC member Bathabile Dlamini is also tipped to run for the top position. So let's unpack this now. I'm joined by political analyst Asanda Ngoasheng this morning, of course, to talk ANC Women's League Elective Conference. Thank you so much, Asanda, for your time, and a very warm good morning to you. Let's speak the significance of this elective conference, especially at the back of numerous postponements that we have seen. But how significant and, I suppose, important is it for the Women's League to sit?
Well, I think the Women's League is as important, if not more important, even than the Youth League, because South Africa's population is majority women, and most households in South Africa are actually women-led. And so what that means is that when we talk about South African society in the majority, we're talking about Black women and we're talking about women who are leading families.
But also with that significance, Asanda, we cannot deny or ignore the countless branch disputes that seem to contribute to these postponements. I mean, what is at the heart of these disputes, and why can't a resolution be found so that at least the leadership, the next leadership, is elected?
I think the bigger issue is that the ANC went through a phase during Jacob Zuma where various structures were destroyed and they haven't been kind of reconstituted since. So you'll know that the ANC Youth League is only now recently having just elected its leadership after having practically died since Julius Malema left or was kicked out of the EFF. And I think that, this is an institutional problem within the ANC, where they haven't been able to ensure that structures outside of the main structure, which is essentially the men's structure, are as important and are taken care of in the same way. And also with women, there are issues of, there's a lot of what I would call intergenerational conflict, wherein the priorities that the older generation thinks should be focused on are different to the priorities that the younger generation thinks should be focused on. And I think that, what they should have done, for instance, is after recruiting young people like Unompendulo and others who were leading Fees Must Fall, those are the people that they should be pushing to be at the helm of the ANC Women's League, so that you have young women who understand the concerns of women in South Africa in 2023 and have been at the core place of youth and women's struggles in South Africa, because those are the people who are going to make, joining the ANC Women's Youth League attractive to young people, which it isn't at this point in time, because people see it, as a gathering of old women. It's almost like, old school kind of women gathering. And there hasn't been an injection of young people's ways of gathering, and young people's issues, and young people's kind of pressing, challenges and ideologies around issues of feminism and around issues of just generally what kind of solutions we think will solve the current quagmire of South Africa, which we know, for instance, that Black women are the most affected by youth unemployment and by unemployment in general. And we know that even when Black women in particular, are employed, they earn more than 30% less than all of their counterparts. And so the Women's League can play a very important role in ensuring that at the heart of all ANC policy, at the heart of all ANC programs, is the struggle that women face as a majority population in South Africa.
That's such an important point you raised there, Asanda, because the issue around ageism has constantly been, discussed and debated when it comes to the ruling party. I mean, you're right in saying that young people of today will relate to issues like AI that's disrupting, of course, workspaces, gender-based violence, but also the Banyana gender pay parity that we've seen quite recently, where they were advocating for equal pay as their male counterparts. So at all, were you surprised or not when you saw Bathabile Dlamini might possibly be tipped to contest again?
I'm not surprised, because this is typical ANC politics, where, somebody doesn't have a place in government anymore. And so let's find a structure or a place to put that person, instead of actually figuring out what does this structure need and who is the best person to lead it. They tend to use their institutions as, secondment opportunities rather than as opportunities for picking the best person for the job. And that is what a lot of people are frustrated with. And that is the thing that is going to see the ANC lose a lot of support in the upcoming election, because they just don't understand what people are facing on the ground at this point in time. And Bathabile Dlamini in particular is so problematic because she has been mired in controversy over the past 10 years. There are so many scandals around her that whether she's actually guilty or innocent at this point doesn't matter. What you need somebody who is going to come in with a fresh face and who's going to be scandal free, who's going to be controversy free, so that you can focus on the business of the day and not be constantly focused on this personality or this character, which then overshadows the issues that the ANC Women's League is supposed to be dealing with. So people will be reporting on Bathabile Dlamini and her antics and what she's done now and what is outstanding in all her mini court cases, etc., instead of talking about what are the issues that women in South Africa need to be focusing on, what are the issues that women in South Africa need to be supported in. And, in South Africa, we know that we have high unemployment, we know that our economy is struggling, but we also know that a large number of women are business owners, but there isn't any support and there isn't enough support structures for them. And in fact, women's businesses are the ones that are known to be most self-funded rather than funded and supported by government. And these are the issues that the ANC Women's League has the ability to fight for inside. Yep. And now we're busy, with personalities rather than the issues that they should be focusing on.
I suppose we'll have to wait and see. 21st and 23rd of July, that's the new dates we've been given by the ANC Women's League Elective Conference when it will commence. But thank you so much, Asanda Ngoasheng, for speaking to me, our political analyst. Just at the back of what's to be expected in terms of, number one, the candidates that are, of course, vouching for some of the top positions are in the ANC Women's League, but also whether or not that leadership will be a fresh one, including young women who, of course, are relatable to the issues that matter and affect women for women of today.